They're in fantasy drafts. He's a few tight ends I would target, and it's not going to be all the obvious guys that you can get in early rounds. The first tight end's Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles. So Dallas Goedert, another solid year last year, 55 catches, 702 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. So right now, tight end we know is a pretty weak position besides the top 4 or 5 guys this season, with Travis Kelce headlining obviously the position and being a first rounder in most fantasy drafts. But right now, Dallas Goedert, you could get him 5th to 6th round in most fantasy drafts. He's on a loaded Philadelphia Eagle team with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, who was the MVP, obviously. In the backfield, you got DeAndre Swift now, Rashad Penny coming back over there. So right now, he's in a loaded offense. He's a matchup nightmare for safeties or linebackers, whoever's going to cover him. And right now, to get a tight end with his talent who could put up pretty solid numbers and top 5 tight end numbers, no doubt about it. Dallas Goedert is definitely a tight end in the 5th to 6th round I would target. Tight ends Cole Kmet, the Chicago Bears. So Cole Kmet, he had some flash games last season, and now another season in the system with Justin Fields is going to help, obviously. And Cole Kmet, he's a big target and a red zone target as well. Last year, 50 catches, 544 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns on 69 targets, and now a lot of weapons in this offense over there in Chicago. DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, obviously, Darnell Mooney, Herbert in the backfield, also with Deonta Foreman, who was solid last year. And I think Kmet could attack defenses in the middle, and he has a knack for the end zone as well as a big 6'4", 6'5" target here is Cole Kmet. So right now, his ADP is very low in my opinion. He's going 11th, 12th round. I've seen him in some mock drafts and obviously in some rankings as well. And tight end definitely is a weak position, and Cole Kmet, I think, could crack the top 7 or 8 when it's all said and done in fantasy points. As long as this Bear offense could get him the football, and Justin Fields could get better this season throwing the football. We know running, he's great at doing that, but if he could spread it out to his receivers and Cole Kmet, I think the numbers could go up. And like I said, to get a Cole Kmet in the 11th, 12th round type of range, I think it's a steal at this point, especially at a tight end position where there's not many great guys at the position. The next tight end's Pat Freiermuth of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Freiermuth, I like him year in and year out, and last season I thought he had some flash games with the rookie Pickett at quarterback, but now second year with Pickett in the offense. And right now this Steelers team, they got some weapons as well where the middle of the field should be open here. George Pickens, I think, is going to have a good season. Deontay Johnson, he should have a bounce-back season. They got Najee Harris now. Last year, Freiermuth had a great year in terms of yards and catches. The only thing I would want to see go up a little more, obviously, is the touchdowns. So last year, 63 catches, 732 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns on 98 targets. So the 98 targets is a great number for a tight end position. So Freiermuth, he's a matchup problem for linebackers and safeties, and he's a guy that hopefully could score a little bit more touchdowns. But in terms of catching the football as a possession tight end and getting yards after catch, he definitely could bring that for fantasy owners. And this season here, I definitely want to target Pat Freiermuth, and he's another tight end you could get at a good ADP price this season, going anywhere from the 7th to the 9th round range. I've seen Pat Freiermuth go. Next tight end's Evan Ingram of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the Jaguars' offense this season, especially adding Calvin Ridley, and pretty much on all these target lists, I've mentioned a Jacksonville Jaguar player. Obviously, Lawrence, I would target Calvin Ridley, and now Evan Ingram. And last season, a breakout year for Ingram. Finally, after they thought with the New York Giants he was going to be a big-time playmaker, but it wasn't the case last year. 73 catches, 766 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. And right now, Evan Ingram, his ADP is a little bit low. Going to fantasy draft, 7th or 8th round for him as well, where he potentially could put up top 7, top 8 numbers, even better possibly, is Ingram at the tight end position. When you got a Calvin Ridley on the outside, you got Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, who had a good year last year, and also a running back like Travis Etienne who cause havoc out of the backfield. Evan Ingram's going to get a lot of good matchups and a lot of good looks, especially in the middle of the field. For a guy with his potential and his speed at the tight end position, I think he really could pay big dividends for fantasy owners and be a solid tight end to target this year. And like I said, it wouldn't be surprising to me if he did crack the top 5 in fantasy points at the position. And the 5th and final tight end I look to target on draft day here is Greg Dulcich of the Denver Broncos. So Dulcich, he got a little taste last season in his rookie year as a starter for this Denver Bronco team. But now going into this year, 9th, 10th round, I've been seeing him go maybe a little bit later in fantasy drafts. And last year, pretty much in a half a season, 33 catches, 411 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. So over there in Denver, we know they got the new head coach in Sean Payton, where obviously he utilized the tight end in a big way in the Jimmy Graham years over there in New Orleans. And now Greg Dulcich, I'm not saying he's going to be a Jimmy Graham, obviously, when Graham was in his prime with the Saints, but he could be a big vocal point of the offense. I know they got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and in the backfield, Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams if he's going to be ready for the opener. But I think Greg Dulcich at the tight end position, he could stretch the field. And we saw last season, him and Wilson had good rapport over there from quarterback to tight end. So right now, Dulcich, he's a speedy tight end. He could get open in the middle of the field. He's a matchup problem for linebackers and safeties as well. And this Bronco team, they could be trailing a lot this season, where Dulcich is going to get force-fed targets at times, and they're going to play a lot of catch-up where they're going to have to throw the football a lot. So that's a few tight ends I look to target here, entering the 2023 season and fantasy drafts in the next few weeks.